Unless you live under a rock and you do not have Disney Channel, Disney Plus, then if you've been under a rock for the past 30 years, you do not know what Hocus Pocus is, I urge you to stop this video right here, right now. Because I'm going to be spoiling Hocus Pocus 2. Spoiler alert is in effect. So, if y'all ain't seen Hocus Pocus, the original, stop the video like I said right now. Watch the original, get yourself some Disney Plus, and watch Hocus Pocus 2. Then come back. For those of y'all that are lucky enough to have seen Hocus Pocus 2, here we go. So, like I said, Hocus Pocus 2 takes place 30 years after the events of Hocus Pocus, the original movie, the one where Thackeray Binks is trapped within a body of a cat. Now, I hear a lot of people bitching in the comment section right here, right now, about the plot points of the Hocus Pocus, original Hocus Pocus. Well, let me give you a backstory here. Max Tennyson moved from California to Salem, Massachusetts, because of his family. Now, a lot of people might just have that, might be under the impression that Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Miss Mahini, or whatever, how the fuck you want to pronounce her name, did not want to make a Hocus Pocus 2 after the very first film. That is simply not the case. They were just waiting for a time and date for it to happen, and it happened today. Now, before I go into the Hocus Pocus 2, I'm going to go into Hocus Pocus 1. Again, spoiler alert is in effect. Leave off of this page until you've seen the very first movie. Max Dennison and his family moved from California to Salem, Massachusetts. Now, not a lot of people know this, but Salem, Massachusetts was indeed a spot for witch trials. Okay? However, during the events of the first movie, like at the very beginning, none of that was actually proven to be factual. Winifred Sanderson, Sarah Sanderson, and Mary Sanderson must have been powerful witches to invoke the rage of the townfolk. Because during the events of the first movie at the very beginning, witch trials were actually said and done. That being said, what a lot of people don't realize about Hocus Pocus 1, if you really look at the color schemes of each of the witches, then you will understand what they were as far as their magical powers. However, Sarah and Mary never really used their powers in the very first movie. It was more so Winifred. Why Winifred? Well, the events of the first movie sees all three witches trying to suck the lives out of children. Winifred Sanderson's spellbook, being the all-powerful book from hell, shows how to get the lives out of the children both times that she tries. Now, this in contrast, Winifred Sanderson is 300 years old in the events of the first movie. If it was possible to have a person live to be that old, or, well, wait, in the case of Winifred Sanderson, until the black flame candle was lit. Yes, I said it, black flame candle. See, the events of the first movie has the townsfolk hang Winifred, Mary, and Sarah Sanderson, and they place the curse on the town. The curse of the town is the fact that they would come back when a virgin lit a black flame candle. Everything that the witches said came to pass, and the kid who lit the black flame candle gets told off by a magical talking cat. Okay? I'm a big fan of Winifred Sanderson. I'm a big fan of Hocus Pocus in general. Okay? Now, the events of the first movie has Max, Danny, and Allison, I want to say. It was either Allison or Addison. At any rate, those three plus Binks. And eventually, Billy. Billy being Sarah and Winifred's love interest. Now, Billy tells Winifred the fuck off. Okay. Winifred, okay, Bet, I love you. I always have loved you from the time I saw you in different movies to Hocus Pocus and beyond. But the actor who played Billy Butcherson, if you are on this here YouTube channel, or on YouTube in general, work. You fucking did it. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So, the events of the first movie transpire. They try to find children who are in costumes. Now, mind you, this is 1993 when they come back. Almost 300 years have gone by since they have been dead. They ain't used to our technology back then. And they ain't used to our technology today. More on that here later on. Later on in this review with a Satanist. Now, what most people don't realize is the Sanderson sisters were actually tried in Salem back in the day. Were they hung? No. Did they know magic? Again, no. Did they have a book from hell? No. They were tried, never hung, because it was right before the overturn of hanging a person or drowning a person. Or whatever. They were real people, but Disney did take some liberties and made the Sanderson sisters, who I believe in the movie were portrayed better than the actual people, who were a coven of good witches, unlike their on-screen counterparts. Back to what I was saying, though. Sorry, got sidetracked there for a minute. So the events of the first movie unfurl. Basically, they chase Max, Danny, and Allison to the high school. They get baked up, green smoke, come back down. Learned French. Okay. Now, I'm gonna just fast forward a lot to the point where the sun comes up, and Mary and Sarah Sanderson turn into dust, and Winifred turns into pile of rubble before she herself turns into dust. The second movie picks up where the first movie left off. The first movie turns all three into dust. The second movie. Oh boy, where do I begin with that? Okay, spoiler warning for all y'all that ain't seen it yet. Get yourself Disney Plus and watch both films. Trust me, you ain't gonna be sorry. So Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Nahili, I hope I'm saying that name right, reprise their roles, as does Billy, the actor who played him. This time around, it's 30 years after the events of the first movie. And the witches are back yet again, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the events of the first movie affect the events of the second movie. Excuse me. With the Sandersons' house being now a magic shop. With the shopkeep, I'm sorry, that doesn't really rub me the right way. Here's why. He wants to resurrect the witches yet again. But he can't do it himself. Oh no. This time around, it's not a virgin who lights the candle, but a witch. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this young lady is about to be turning 16, which at the very beginning of the movie, we learned that Sarah, Mary, and Winifred received a book from this young witch, but she forewarns the witches not to use a specific spell. When asked why, she says the book does not like that spell in particular. Makes Winifred, Sarah, and Mary promise not to use it. They do. But that promise is going to play a major role in the whole movie. For you see, the three witches. Okay, so fast forward to our time where a sweet 16-year-old is about to learn she's not just an ordinary girl. Oh no. She indeed possesses magic. However, we also find out that the pastor who wants to tear Winifred from her sisters is related to the girl who is gonna we'll get to the later on which part thing, but for all intents and purposes, she's friends with the mayor's daughter, who the mayor is like 6 or 7 times great to the pastor that banished the three. But more. At any rate, the three, which is Mary, Winifred, and Sarah, Sarah, Mary, and Winifred, when they return, are looking not only for teenage blood, but then the blood of thine enemy. In this case, the blood of thine enemy is the 6 or 7 times great grandson of the pastor that banished them to where they are today. And then, not like where they are today, but like where they were in back then. And then you have them coming into our world in this day and age. And oh my God, hell ensues. That kind of like, I'm gonna fast forward it just a little bit here so I can explain everything with what I remembered. They go into a Walgreens. They take a broom, 2 Roku type of vacuum cleaners, and a Swiffler, respectively. At Walgreens. And then they make a deal with the shopkeep, trap our protagonist into the cellar of said shopkeep's shop. She finds out she's a magical witch. Her sister, or her friend, is her second witch. And then the third witch after that. Winifred banishes her 2 sisters because she wants to be all powerful, more powerful than any of the other witches. Finds out that the price that she had to pay was her 2 sisters. She was not willing to part with them, so she asks our protagonist, and in the long and short end of it, to banish her to be with her sisters. Here's my review of the whole scenario of the second movie. I'm going to do the first movie first so I can give you kind of overwhelming or underwhelming it is for the second one, okay? So the first movie, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'm docking a point, obviously, for Transfiguration because that was a Harry Potter thing. I understand that they did it first, but the way that they could have did it is transfigure him by sending him to Hogwarts. I'm bear in mind, I'm teasing when I say this, okay? They could have sent him to Hogwarts to McGonagall. Again, teasing. But 9 out of 10 for the first movie. I'm now gonna rate the second movie based upon plot lines and how long it took to tell the story. For historical accuracy, as far as the first movie goes, then I'm docking a point for the historical accuracy for the first movie. Not so much for the cat. I'm teasing when I said what I said about the cat. I was only teasing. I'm actually docking the point from the first movie due to the historical accuracy. That's about it. Okay, now for the second movie. Again, the historical accuracy kind of bugged me because, yes, they banished even little children if they thought that they were witches. Okay? But I am going to dock 1 point. One point just because of how long it took to tell the whole story. Other than that, 9 out of 10, again, mostly because of how long it took the story to like unfold. Now, if I had went to go see Hocus Pocus 2 in theaters, I probably would have walked out. Because of how long like I said, because of how long it took to tell the story. Other than that, 9 out of 10. And I'm sticking by it. The thing that kind of irked me was why not, say from the get-go she was a witch. I mean, it was implied, but again, get-go. In other words, why didn't you point fucking blank say, oh, by the way, she's a witch? It was a missed opportunity. I do want to address the elephant in the room. In both movies, there's a dance scene. In the first movie, it is with it's Winifred at I believe the adults Halloween bash in 1993. In this one, it's at a Halloween carnival. Okay, so I got a question for Disney, and Disney, if y'all could answer this, please, thank you. Why make it a carnival instead of what you did in 1993 with the Halloween bash? Because that makes no sense whatsoever for them to be remotely at a Halloween bash when they could have been at a carnival in the first movie, or vice versa. Anyways, I'll see you guys when I see you. Bye.